I don't care what nobody say. This is Sean. It got to be Sean. Talk like that. I knew it. Yeah. I was about to say, man. I'm about to say, like, yeah, ain't nobody that sound and like that. That's Sean McDeasy, man. What up?
What up, buddy? Congratulations,
yeah, I'm sure.
man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. We locked and loaded, man.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus Podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate it, as well as share with your fellow Bills Mafia friends.
It was Buffalo Plus Hoodie Day. What are you doing?
I didn't change. We've been here. It's been a long day. Monday, the 11th. We're recording this podcast.
This quality way better than the live stream.
Yeah.
Thank you
for
Thank you for sticking with us. It was Jenna's fault, right?
Definitely.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It was a Monday stream quality.
But we
Yes.
still got great responses.
And we have fixed the problem for next time. So
we have
we think.
we have definitely
the confidence.
Hey.
Fake it till you make it.
Hey,
That's it.
right. All right. So we were recording this at about 8:30 at night.
Right.
So there have been a flurry of moves made, but just in case anything perhaps happens after this, we want to set the stage. So most recently, Josh Allen's contract was restructured, but I want to talk about some of the biggest things of today. Dion Dawkins signing an extension, AJ Epenesa getting an extension, Gabe Davis going to the Jags, Leonard Floyd also now with the Niners. So Mike, what is your biggest takeaway from this early day as free agency gets
Brandon
gets going?
Beane put a foot in the water. He didn't put a toe in the water. He didn't dive in the water. He's like, I got some moves to make. I'm not the big spender, but there's nothing today that was surprising to me. I don't know if it was surprising to you guys.
Well, what was surprising was Dion Dawkins cut himself and then and then was just trolling everyone.
That was something. When in case people don't know, because it was for a short period of time, Dion tweets out that, like, I'm out at Buffalo. It's been real, goodbye.
Yeah.
But he had also tweeted 3 days earlier, like, Buffalo will always be my home.
Yeah.
So I think some people were like, oh, like, an extension's coming. And then he tweeted out, like, I said it, Buffalo will always be my home, but I'm moving on and now I can have ranch or something like that with his wings. And stunning. I think a lot of people.
I swear, I tweeted and said, this is stunning. I didn't see it. I don't know if anybody else saw it. I didn't see it. Well, the reason we didn't see it because it didn't happen.
And there are times when people get got by fake accounts, fake Schefters, fake ESPNs, all of those things. It's another thing when the actual player tweets that they're leaving.
I told you, I was driving in here to meet you guys, and I had NFL Network on my phone through the radio and through the speaker, and I hear them go, oh, wow, this is surprising. Dion Dawkins is leaving Buffalo. He's out in Buffalo. And
it was
like,
so surprising it wasn't real.
Yes.
So,
but I honestly, in a day or a week when the Bills did cut prominent players on the roster, I guess you never know. But what we've been telling you guys, like, some guys are longer term players. There's reasons other players are gone. Some are decisions at the end of a deal. Some are decisions while they still have a contract. None of them are strictly for the salary cap, which is what we've been trying to tell you.
That's correct.
There's other reasons behind it. But no, Dion isn't going anywhere, and he signed his extension.
Yeah.
So this is how Dion answered the Zoom call when he was asked by Catherine Fitzgerald of the Buffalo News. Where did he come up with the idea? And this prank, we'll insert it right here.
What was it like? Can you talk us through the prank you pulled this morning?
I don't really see it as a prank, for the people that I'm an entertainer, I'm going to entertain. So, I was missing the Mafia. Simple as that. I was missing the Bills Mafia, and I had to figure out which way I could do to, get a little bit of something back and forth. And, they love it, they hate it, but it's me. I can't change.
How long did you have that planned?
I didn't. Today was kind of real sporadic because I woke up to a call from my agent and he was like, "Yo, like they're gonna put the news out in an hour," and I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I have an hour to troll." So I just woke up trolling after my workout. So it was like troll. But hey, it is what it is. Oh man. I hate it, and I love it. It's just like I figured, like, you know, you talk about ranch, if I can eat ranch, and they were like, ranch is not a Buffalo thing, so you can't be talking about Buffalo. So just keep them buzzing, but there's no plan, and my brain spins, and when it spins, I just spit out. So
also, I thought it got even better because somebody crashed the Zoom.
And it's expected.
Yeah.
It's the wild man, the crazy man, off season, Sean McDermott.
Or as he likes to be known as, Sean from Orchard Park.
Dion.
Who's that?
This is Sean from Orchard Park Beat. I was just calling. You describe yourself as an entertainer, and I was just wondering maybe if you could share a song with us to mark this special occasion.
You said Sean from I'm gonna tell you, Sean, I don't know who it is, but you sound like McDermott. And if I were to say, if this is Sean, welcome, because I don't know you, but Sean, I'm gonna talk to you like I'll talk to my head coach. Let's ride out. And the song choice that I would say, it'll probably be Sweet Home Alabama, but I would probably change it to Sweet Home Buffalo. So Sweet Home Buffalo.
and maybe you could talk about the wardrobe you're wearing for this special occasion today for all of us.
Shirtless snow, man. Shirtless snow. I don't care what nobody say. This is Sean. It got to be Sean. Talk like that. I knew it. Yeah. I was about to say, man. I'm about to say, like, yeah, ain't nobody that sound and like that. That's Sean McDeasy, man. What up?
What up, buddy? Congratulations, man.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you. We locked and loaded, man.
I just wanted to hear a little rap, a little song that you had for us.
See, everybody wants a little bit of entertainment when the off season starts, right?
Hey, you said you're an entertainer, man, so I had to jump on and be like, hey, let's hear a song.
I got you, man. What up, though? Sweet. Yeah, that's the remix. We need that. Mom, I'm coming home to you. Yeah.
Oh, you're the best, buddy. We love you, man. See you guys.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I mean, first of all, Sean is pretty tight in that sense with Dion. Dion loves him. Yeah. He talked about
that was his first draft class.
Yeah.
And he talks about Matt Beauvais, good friend, Buffalo Plus guy, said, like, ask Dion, like, why Buffalo?
Why Buffalo?
Yeah.
And he gave a very long-winded answer about how he pretty much he grew up in Buffalo, that Buffalo is his mom and dad. It was kind of what he said. But then he also kind of, like, after he got done with it, he goes, why Buffalo? Because of Sean McDermott. That's why. Because of Brandon Beane and his family, and because of all these things. Like, again, I know there are a lot of people, and I know in the comments, I've said it before, I end up looking like this Sean McDermott apologist. That team loves their head coach.
Yes.
Period. And again, there are a lot of things that players say that almost they have to say. Mm-hmm. Dion didn't have to say that.
No.
Also, Dion is the type of person that was also say
that was also before Sean zoomed in.
He knew it was Sean.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. That he said that before he knew that Sean McDermott
was on the call.
So
yeah. I remember, we talk about that draft. And again, this was before Brandon Beane was part of the organization. Yep. And he was working for another team. He was still working for Carolina. And then the Bills hired him. Dion ended up being, that second round pick. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was doing the preseason games, and Dion's whole family was in Philly because he's a Jersey guy. They were all there for the game. And I was talking to his mom, his family, and I said, I think your son's going to start. I said, I think they really like him. So I know we go to this moments where Sean McDermott doesn't play young players. Well, back then he played young players because they were new. These guys needed to play. Mm-hmm. And Dion, as a second round pick, as a left tackle, like, I know you could say just plug him in, but it wasn't like he was the 5th pick in the draft. Like they got him in the 2nd, they brought him in, and not only that, but all this way through, I thought this was the best season he has had on the
absolutely.
field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to the testament that Sean McDermott wanted in the culture, him and Brandon Beane, of like, we want guys to be themselves, to invest in themselves, and then be able to have the results on the field. And I think Dion Dawkins is actually the perfect example of that. Draft, develop, re-sign. Dion has done that multiple times. And it's like, this is a guy that I remember when Dion was a rookie, some of the older guys in the locker room were like, oh, this guy's he's kind of quirky. Like, what's going on? But Dion is who he is, and he's been able to thrive. And you're right. I think it says a lot about, come as you are, buy in, and see what happens after that.
I think that's a great point, because you've also seen him become more open.
Yeah.
Like he's allowed, like you said, to not only be himself, but this wasn't who Dion was as a rookie. He was a little out there, but he was not in the media. He wasn't doing all these things.
An entertainer.
He's an entertainer.
And that's
who he is.
We'll talk about Josh and the restructuring and all, but in terms of, I would say this is a 3rd contract.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it.
He's the first guy with a 3rd contract, right?
Yeah, because I mean Trey obviously
Trey
is not. Milano's got a 2nd deal, but he hasn't had a 3rd.
2nd deal. This is 3rd.
Right. Yeah.
Meaning like this is now Josh
COVID.
got a deal, rookie, and then the big deal, and now they restructure it, but that's not a new deal. This is really, it's an extension is what they call it, because he still has a year left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really he's the first guy of that group, all those guys together. I shouldn't say that. Did Poyer and Hyde, they signed 1 year or 2 year deals?
I think it's a little bit different though when it's like a multi-year.
You're right. But I'm talking about the guys who came in 17.
Yeah.
That group. So
I hear that.
It's great. It's great for him.
Yeah. No. So that's a guy obviously staying in Buffalo. Other news in terms of a player staying, AJ Epenesa was a free agent. The Bills doing a deal with him for a 2-year thing. I think we talked about it earlier on in the day. He's a nice player. I think he can make some nice plays with the Bills. You hope he continues to take those steps forward. But at the same point, I felt like this was a situation for the Bills. They got a guy that they can rely on, someone that they hope to have more upside in, and it seems like it's relatively for a good amount of money.
Top tier pass rushers are expensive.
Yes.
And that is what we saw. They are very expensive. And this was kind of the sweet spot, I think, for AJ to develop. It's funny. We talk about draft, develop, resign. And coming into training camp, I didn't think AJ had developed into much. And I he was the one guy I thought was on that was like, who's the surprise cut? I was pretty adamant of like, I haven't seen anything from AJ in training camp. And then he comes out here and also I think has his best year, developed really well into what they want of him and comfortable in his own body. Remember they drafted him during the 2020 COVID year. They had him lose all this weight. Then he was getting pushed around. Then he got the muscle back up. Then it was the following year. I remember Dion talking about, man, I put my hands on him and he feels different. Like he feels like, but then it was like, then he was too slow for the guys again. So it seemed like he was kind of fluctuating, trying to figure out who he wanted to be.
The overcorrection.
And now you really saw it.
Yeah.
The way that he impacted games, I was really impressed by.
And he got a little extra attention because he was the 2nd round pick, but they didn't have a 1st round pick that year. Mm-hmm. And you start looking at all these other guys on the line. They drafted Ed and he's re-signed and Ed has gotten better and better. But Boogie Basham is gone. They're hoping Rousseau, he's a key guy. I would say Rousseau. I still think, they have Vaughn, they have Rousseau and Epenesa now. Yeah. I still think they're drafting an edge somewhere. They're drafting an edge.
They
player.
can't help themselves. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. They do need to, but I agree. Yeah. I think that's something
But to your point, Huff and now Burns gets the deal with the Giants.
And the guy for Houston.
Yeah.
And down the line, there is going to be other big pass rushers, either, keep your eyes out there and around the league. The Chargers have decisions to make on Mack. They have a decision to make on Bosa. Like, I'm not saying the Bills are in on these guys, but you will see bigger name pass rushers could be on the market. And then you see where the Bills are and the rest of that.
I was only going like this because I think we have to turn the mug for Dan's wrong. Because he said AJ Epenesa.
I was right at the time.
That's so good.
That's how you do it.
You just hit your face
I
on
was
that.
laughing so hard I hit my face.
That's how you do it.
Oh my gosh. But now you're wrong. You're right.
Well, now I changed. Now I'm right again.
So
oh my god.
that wouldn't work for a freezing cold take because
no. It's
Well,
not
yeah, it would,
it's not
right?
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not Ohtani.
That is
If you want to know a really good tweet, search my name and Ohtani. It'll be the first one. It's a really good tweet.
it's a really great
just
tweet.
tell them quickly what it is.
Oh, in 2018, I said Ohtani would be a bust. Like adamantly.
At the time, well, you still were
With your
right.
chest.
Yeah.
At the time, I said he had given up like 27 runs in spring training, and I was like, the Japanese Babe Ruth's a bust. Swing and a miss.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I would
All
say
right,
so.
There you go.
There's that. All right, let's talk other players. So we talked about Dion, we talked about AJ Epinesa.
Oh,
Let's jump to
well, let's let him go on.
That's true. Have your moment. You're
Gabe Davis got paid.
Yeah.
He did.
Not in Buffalo.
I'm very happy that the Gabe Davis trial experiment didn't as a number 2 guy. It's over. Like we can move on. We can turn the page. This has well been addressed on this channel before. You can find videos. I've been since the day that they said that he was going to be the number 2 guy. I was skeptical after the playoff game in Kansas City. I was very skeptical. And the last 2 years, he has wildly underachieved. At times, we've said he has held the team back because of the decisions they haven't made because of it, because they wanted Gabe to be the number 2 guy. He's got a 52% catch rate.
Yeah.
It's not good.
For so long, I felt like you saw the tremendous upside. What is he? Is he a 4th round pick?
Yep.
Yeah, 4th
UCF.
round pick out of UCF. He had this like calm, cool, collected nature. Someone that we thought could really play big in those big moments. We saw it in the Kansas City playoff game.
Yep.
And then we saw, and someone put in a comment on our earlier live stream, like Gabe was too inconsistent. And I was like, no, he was consistent. That was the issue. So I think for Gabe, I think this is a fresh start.
Happy
with
for
a
him.
whole lot of money, 3-year deal, $39 million, up to $50 million with incentives. So, but now the pressure is on because you're getting paid like a
Number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's interesting. We do the newscast too. And in the newscast, you guys
We
know.
work at a TV station.
Well, we have to, you kind of boil it down quickly. And I said, sort of what Jenna was saying there. He was a good draft pick for a 4th round
Absolutely.
pick. Really good football player. But when asked to bring more to this franchise, he failed.
Yep.
Now, you could argue that they failed him too. Like, I don't know specifically everything that went on, but you're playing with Stephon Diggs on one side and Josh Allen is your quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and this, a franchise that wants you to succeed. I'm glad I want them all to get paid. I'm glad Gabe got paid. And I don't care. Go catch a bunch of balls in Jacksonville. It might happen. Whatever reason, it was not happening in Buffalo.
Yep.
They made the decision and the targets dropped later in the year. It wasn't even like it was in the previous year where he kept getting the targets and it wasn't working. This past year, 4 times at least, terrible miscommunication between he and Josh. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I just feel
Gabe
like that
got
lasting image of the interception from Allen when Gabe, there was just a lot of moments. And you know what? Some of that's probably on Josh Allen, but at the same point, when it's seemingly the same receiver over and over again, the tolerance for that.
I could see Beane sitting there going, Josh or
Gabe Davis.
Josh or Gabe.
Yeah.
Josh or Gabe. I'm gonna keep Josh.
I wrote this on my hand earlier while we were doing the live stream.
You have paper, right?
Yeah,
there.
but this was earlier. I didn't have it. Over the last 3 years in the regular season, Gabe was targeted 237 times.
You're gonna get that tattooed on you, aren't you?
237 targets in the
with a
regular
good time.
season. He ended up only catching 128 of those targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
That's speaks for
Yeah.
itself.
And like I said, the good news is he got paid. It's good for the Bills.
It is good for the Bills.
Because it goes towards
hey,
the
we
comp.
wanted to, but we were happy for him.
Right.
He gets a lot of money.
The
and
bigger the deal, the better it is
Going
for
back-
them in comp picks.
Yep.
Going back home.
Going back home, reunited with Chad
Chad
Hall,
Hall.
former Bills wide receiver coach.
Buy him another truck.
Yeah. Look at that.
I was right.
You were right.
Yeah.
Daniel Jeremiah tweeting, not much happening in the wide receiver market. Draft is stacked at that position. That I think is something to monitor because we've talked so much about the other guys that are out there. And maybe the Bills do wait till later on because of where they're at in terms of the position coming up in the draft.
But I think they do wait. I think they wait.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's funny. I'll just use Gabe as an example. You sign Gabe. They already have Christian Kirk. I don't know what happens. I'm not saying the Bills are getting Zay Jones back, but I'm saying is what happens in these rooms is you bring in a guy, somebody gets cut loose. I mean, this happens around the league. And look, I don't know if the Devontae Parker, I'm just mentioning guys that are going to be out there on the market and maybe out there for a while. The idea is you want to draft a top end player.
Yeah. That can make an immediate impact now and then emerge and become a true number one guy.
There's no way the Vikings want to trade Justin Jefferson, is there?
No.
I talked myself into T. Higgins.
Oh, earlier today.
Yeah,
we were there. We watched it in
for the
time.
late first for their pick, 28th.
Yep. And you restructure it. I was all in on it a few years ago when Brandon Ayuk had his little contract.
Yes,
and I was like,
I remember that.
And everybody's like, you can't pay him. You could have figured it out. Again, that's another thing. But again, I think the Bills are looking. You could have TB number 2 right now, and next year, if you want to move on from Stephon Diggs, he would be a true number 1.
I mean,
certainly
it makes sense.
Yes, it's a lot easier to have a rookie deal. I get that. I think that's where they want to go. They want to get younger. I think that's the one thing we want to stress over some of these decisions that we didn't necessarily fully hit on, whether it was the Poyer, Trey, or Mitch Moore signings. So many people get caught up in they cut Jordan Poyer to save the money in the salary cap. Well, guess what? They then turned right around and gave that. They saved a little over $5 million or $5 million by cutting Jordan Poyer. They then slid that money in a direct check over to Taylor Rapp.
Yeah.
They didn't save any money. They respent the money. They wanted to get younger. They wanted to go with Taylor Rapp over Jordan Poyer. That's the bottom line. It was a football decision that had salary cap benefits. Don't get so caught up by saying these are salary cap casualties. The Bills aren't pocketing that money. They're not saving it. They're turning around and spending it. And they're spending it on players that are younger. That's where the Bills are going to go.
I love he went with the single shot.
I feel like he rehearsed that.
Yes, he did.
I was in the mirror. I was in the mirror all day.
You were doing the Republican response. It was right there, the Fates response there. Yeah, because this is it. The money is going to get spent again, and teams make decisions on players. Like I said, salary cap is does salary come into play? Yes. Teams decide this guy is not performing at the level that we need. We're not thinking of him long term.
But it's talent first.
Yes, and it's where you are on the field. I think a guy like Mitch Morris was a perfect example. Mitch was consummate pro, really good Buffalo Bill. I think they looked at his contract and said, are we going to extend him out 2 more years? Is he going to be 3 years with the Bills so this contract works and we're paying him into his 30s? Or do we make the move now and either you'll make a change and get younger at the position, 11 draft picks, you bring in another interior offensive lineman, and it could hurt you. It absolutely could hurt you, right? Because we know what Mitch was, and he got signed right away.
Correct.
And by the way, he doesn't count for the comp formula because he got released by the team. But that's the way, and that's why when you hear people push back and we say the salary cap's not real, and they act like we don't understand that there is a cap and you have to abide by the cap. I keep repeating it. You have to be able to manipulate the cap. The good teams do it. They figure it out. It doesn't mean it doesn't apply. It just does not dictate every roster move like the NFL and the NFL Network would like you to believe that every move is a salary cap casualty. Yeah, they love that.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. By the way,
you're not in our future plans.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And right. And there's some players that it matters more than others in terms of how much they're making.
Again, it's a lot. It's funnier and it's an easier shtick and a tweet to say the salary cap isn't real. I understand the inner workings of it, but don't sit there and say this team made this move because of the salary cap. They made the move because the Bills have made a conscious effort to get younger, faster. They looked down the line and said, it's a 32-year-old center or will be a 32-year-old center. It's a 33-year-old safety. We don't see them as a future. That's why they're doing these moves.
Yeah. And look, it is it is about, like I said, that is about accounting. That's what people have to realize. That's the way the cap goes. But teams make those decisions all the time, and then they have to spend the cash. And by the way, NFL teams turn right around and spend the cash. The New York Giants let Saquon they let Saquon Barkley go. Now, that wasn't a cap move, but you can say they let him go. It's not they don't have the money. If they wanted to pay him, they had the money. They just gave Brian Burns.
But I didn't have any money.
How much did they give Brian Burns?
A lot.
100 million. Right. Million, yeah.
Yeah, they allocate it differently. They're going to spend the money.
And again, one last thing. It's funny because this is the time of the year where everybody says salary cap, salary cap, salary cap. People say, oh, this is a shot at Dan. What does Dan Fates think about all these things? And you have people that their job is the salary cap, and they're going, salary cap's real. The salary cap's real. Yeah, GMs are going to tell you the salary cap's real. They don't want to reveal their secrets. That's part of that's a tool they have in their tool belt. But somebody said, I'm sure the head of mall security would also argue that Santa is real too. Like, these are things that you need to go for your business. I think it's a very funny tweet and a very good way to look at it. It's a CPA saying, don't do your taxes at home. You need me. Okay. You don't, I can do them at home, and I can be pretty close.
Patriots are signing Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
That's it's fine, because I would I would think then that they're drafting one. But man, when you think about in the NFL, not that you guys aren't all, rest comfortably knowing Josh Allen is your quarterback.
How nice is that?
How about this? Ben Voland, who covers the Patriots, says, Buzz, I'm hearing Sam Darnold is weighing offers between the Vikings and the Broncos.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's come to.
That is the reality.
Gardner Minshew just got paid again. Good for him.
Yeah.
Not crazy money, but with the Raiders. So
there are bad starting quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
But we have to hear about how the Bills' window's closed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying,
man, that's
so
very
speaking
true.
of that, Josh.
Restructured.
Yeah.
Which freed up about $16.7 million.
So between Josh's restructure, which took all of, Brandon Beane going, hey, does that work? Hey, just sign that thing for the Josh thing, and it's done. That's all it took, right? It doesn't take anything from Josh. And the NFL going, we made $28 billion last year. Let's raise the cap a little bit. That was 30. There's almost $50 million of cap space.
You guys really are insufferable, but I love you. No, and we were talking earlier off air about you look like LeBron.
He wanted more love.
About some of the other places the Bills, if they wanted to look to restructure, that they could this year or do extensions. Taron Johnson was a name we haven't really heard about, but I think
it's because Taron never gets talked about.
Taron deserves his time. He deserves his flowers. Played the most snaps on the Bills defense the last however many years he's been out there. He is,
and I do believe he has a voice. I think he is a leader, and I think he has taken his place sort of as that third guy back there.
Definitely.
And now he's going to be the number one guy.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I think and it was interesting that Poyer and Hyde, to their credit, when they came out for that last game, they wanted him with them, because they were all together.
Yeah.
I would redo his deal. I would extend his contract. I think the guy is still playing at an elite level. And I think he deserves that and deserves to get paid. So that would be a good thing for him.
I agree. And again,
and
we've
who
talked
else
about
are we saying? There's not that many other.
No, the possibility of Diggs, someone else, and then Matt Milano.
Yeah.
You could do Ed, but I feel like you would do other guys before that. So do you think, Dan, that Diggs gets restructured?
No.
There's only one way I think that happens with Diggs. And I'm just going to throw it out there. There is a way to do that to facilitate a trade if they ever wanted to do it.
Yep.
Because you can work with another team. You do the restructure with the player, drops the number, which would reduce the Bills' dead cap space, and then you go with the team. Now, the more cap space that goes to the other team, the less you may get in compensation. I'm only bringing that up because, man, at this time of the year, a lot of stuff is on the table. But no, I don't believe they're doing that. And I don't, like I said, I don't see some massive signing in free agency, but they can free up a little more space, push some other stuff to next year because they look pretty good on the cap next year. that accounting part of it.
Yep.
And then they could make some moves.
Yeah. I do want to note Leonard Floyd going to the Niners.
Yeah, good for him.
We talked about how he was going to follow the money, which respect.
He's a mercenary.
He is.
He is just
and an honest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that.
Shows up,
hey, I really
sacks
enjoyed
the quarterback, moves on.
It's like Jenna. Show me the money. Wherever the money is.
That's how I am. No, that's why I got into TV.
Show me the money.
Show me the I just space out when you guys are talking. That's actually pretty true. I mean,
that is kind of true.
Yeah, that is kind of true. So there's that. Anything else that we wanted to mention? I think we're going to do these a couple.
Yeah, I think was an interesting day around the league to see how the money got spent.
Yeah,
I think it was really interesting to see the running back market be so quick.
Yeah,
and it's also why I say you never know who's going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who a team signs. You know, the Bills are not that I think in the market for a running back. I don't think so. But like all of a sudden, Green Bay makes their move for Jacobs.
Yeah, and then they cut.
And Aaron Jones is free. I think he's a heck of a player. You know what? I'm not telling Jerry Jones what to do, but he just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game.
Yes.
That'd be a good guy for the Cowboys to sign. I think he's a great player.
I agree.
A very good player. I say great.
Yeah.
But it was just funny to see that in this whole pass rushing thing, you knew that was going to be a thing. I do believe the way the draft sets up, a lot of offensive linemen and a lot of wide receivers, which is where I think it pulls back a little bit from the free agent market.
I agree. Trent Sherfield, I feel like, is back in Buffalo.
It could be. Yeah,
I can see that. I mean, I
think that's a wide receiver
or
5.
Somebody like him.
I think it's a wide receiver 5, special teamer. Sorry. And we cannot go through a video here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel without talking about Justin Shorter. Like, don't forget.
Yes, Justin Shorter.
I know there are comments, people that have already commented before we've gotten here.
Justin Shorter.
I'm going to say this a little early because we'll have this later, but from what I'm hearing, he's coming back next year in the best shape of his life.
Training camp darling?
Could be. Who was the guy last year? What's that?
Andy Isabella.
No, the other guy, big guy. Wide receiver. Bigger wide receiver. I think he had hands up on the practice squad. You know who I'm talking about.
I thought it was Andy Isabella.
No.
You sure?
Nope. All right,
Younger
now it's going to bug me. Nope. All right, I'll find it.
A few moments later.
Go to practice squad.
I'm looking up. Let me see.
Why am I so bad? I shouldn't have brought it up.
I'm Tyrell Shavers.
Shavers.
Really? I guess I don't really. Do you remember that, Dan?
He had a big catch in a preseason game. Yes,
yes,
you do.
Okay, you know who he is. I would say Andy Isabella way more.
Yes, well, everybody loves Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
Yes, because he's small.
Fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick-like.
Yes. Coach on the field.
Yes.
Heady player.
All right. So, yeah, a busy first kind of day as we.
Yeah.
So it's technically not the legal tampering period. Also,
you mean because they won't call it the legal tampering? Please.
I said it's technically not.
It is. That's what it is. Why? Did the NFL name it something?
I don't know, but I saw what's his name. Siciliano.
Oh, he was pushing that all day today. That must be some NFL network talking point that it's not. Don't call it the legal. Yeah, that's what it is. It is the period of time where teams can talk to a player who is technically not a free agent because contract is up. They have this window of 2 days plus they can talk to the agent, not to the player. It is the legal tampering period. Oh, did they name it? Did it get a sponsor by the NFL? You know?
The Jiffy Lube.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. Sources, Diana Rossini saying Packers wanted Aaron Jones to take at least a 50% pay cut entering the final year of his deal.
So, Dan, explain to me. Hold on. I'm trying to think how this worked.
But the Packers should honor the contract that they signed with Aaron Jones. So they can just...
So hold on. Aaron Jones was under contract.
Okay.
So they cut him for the cap, right? Because they saved money on the cap. And then
because they didn't have any money. But
3 times as much to Josh Jacobs. Did you think they might have liked Jacobs better?
But do you think that they're saying they're crying salary cap?
This is when I check out.
It was a salary cap cut. Imagine that 50% cut. But he signed a contract. You mean the NFL doesn't honor those contracts?
All right, we're gonna wrap up here.
I love this. If anybody thinks I'm gonna back down, I am Jon Snow pulling out the sword, like just ready to take on everybody. I will not back down. Never back down, never surrender.
You're literally talking about sports takes.
And keep this in mind. When Dan is right, he tells you a million times. When he's wrong, he tells you previously he was right.
Yeah.
He will find a way to flip that cup
a way
to Dan is right.
That's why you guys come here. I don't know what you want me to say. So you can comment in. Dan is so annoying.
All right. So we'll have plenty more coverage this week on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel as free agency frenzy. How about we'll call it?
Ugh, that alliteration. That's what, again.
I had to do my taxes tomorrow. I'm losing my voice too.
You okay?
Taxes.
You pay your taxes?
Imagine
do your
that.
taxes.
All right. Do your taxes.
Still losing it.
Sorry, I saw an Adam Schefter notification. No, all right. Thank you for joining us. For Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you know a Bills fan who would enjoy this. Again, more coverage on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel coming up.
He tuned you out. Look at him.
Yeah. He doesn't give. I can't swear anymore. Yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time here on Buffalo Plus.
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.